All right, everybody. It is our time for part 2 of the election coverage we had on Saturday night, which was the Rum and Coke night. Yeah, I was going to do a Rum and Coke night on Saturday. I got to tell you, just wasn't feeling it because all things going on and this seasonal stuff just always seems to like make me excessively tired because of this seasonal change, and then we got daylight savings change, and then the weather grew colder here. I'm like bundled up like an Eskimo. It's so cold here, but.
That's a really long way of saying Steve's old.
I've been this way all my life. I mean, it's nothing new, actually, so it's not even an age-related thing. Ageist. See how she is? She's a complete ageist. You know what? You'll get there. You will get there, and then I'm going to mock you incessantly. So, but anyways, I wanted to go over the predictions we made on that night, even though Cheshire and Bullinator were not there, and kind of see how we did. But anyways, I do have Chesh in here, and I got Bullinator, and I invited a few other people who won't show up, but whatever. Landon is busy, I think. But anyways, hi, Chesh.
Hello.
Is she like low volume? Or is that just me? Could be just me.
She's kind of low volume.
I can fix that.
She's a low volume.
Is that better?
Yes, it's better.
Hi.
Yes.
How's it going?
Yes. All right, and we got Bullinator.
Hello.
Now, first of all, I'm sorry that you guys wanted Trump to win, but he didn't. No, I'm just kidding.
Like, just for the meme, I'll go with that.
Did you see that? So what somebody had, they put a picture on screen of like 2 folders. Memes if Trump wins, memes if Biden wins. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are so true. So I'm just going to start this off because this is not going to be a long stream. I got to do something about 5:30, so we don't want to go like another 4-hour stream because we're waiting for the election results. I can tell you this. Yes, I put out a tweet at 9:22 on Saturday saying that, we're calling it as Trump winning. I fully admit that. I got it wrong, absolutely. And I'm glad that I did. But here's a little, I'm not going to say an excuse, but we did say it's based on forecast. Landon was here who was looking at the electoral stuff. And we also said, though, and I put it very, explicitly on Twitter, that Biden still could win. It just needs pretty much a Hail Mary. Now, Georgia, the votes on Georgia were pretty close. I mean, they're within about 1%. And for Georgia to get a recount, I think it has to be within is it 0.1 or 1%? I don't remember. I think it's 1%. I think in Pennsylvania is 0.5%. But Georgia doesn't have an automatic recount. Georgia, the candidate has to request a recount, and it has to be after they're certified, which hasn't been done yet in Georgia. So I'm going to be going by the fact that Georgia is going to stay blue. It is 306 if it goes blue, if I'm not mistaken. So we're going to look and see who got closest to 306. Now, I already know the answer to this. I think I got who it was. And by the way, I will say this. I did have 304, if you guys remember. 304 is what I said until people tried talking me into going with Florida. Well, you had one job.
Florida, we're not mad. We're just disappointed.
Very disappointed in Florida. And again, I knew.
Hey, I voted for Biden. I did. I can't say whether they counted my vote correctly, but I voted for Biden.
Did you have a hanging Chad, or was that 2004?
What?
What election was what election was the hanging Chad? Was that 2000?
No, that was 2000.
2000. Okay.
That was 2000. The hanging Chads, the whole Al Gore
Bush
thing. Yeah, that was 2000.
But I was iffy on Florida, and I got to admit that was more of a hope thing, and I went with my hopes and dreams rather than what the numbers were showing. And of course, Texas, I figured would go to Trump, but the fact that we were even talking about it going blue I think was pretty critical. So I am going to show you guys the predictions we had the other night. Here. I gave you guys a copy if you want to look at it. So let's see here.
This is funny.
Yeah, so let's kind of look at this. So I, of course, I had 334, and that's what I had for Florida. I had New England 2nd District. It could go either way, and I had it as a unknown for the longest time because I don't know enough about New England to say whether the 2nd District was going one way or another. So I just gave it to Biden. So 304 plus another 29 for Florida plus 1 equals 334. That's how I came up with that number. So, yes, I was off from the 306 it's going to be, but like I said, I did specifically know Biden takes Florida because I was hoping. That was a hope. And I did call Georgia, Arizona, and New Mexico, did I not?
You made the mistake of believing in Florida.
I did.
That was your
Yeah.
mistake.
Yeah.
You should never
Listen,
do that.
sometimes Steve just believes in the wrong people. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
Kyle, sometimes it's Florida.
Well, this was faith-based. This was definitely
Yeah.
faith-based. Well, I mean, did you guys think Florida would? I mean, what do you guys think?
No,
of that?
I didn't.
Okay.
I never thought Florida would turn blue.
Yeah,
Ever.
I
I've
agree.
never ever been under the impression that this is a blue state.
I'm going to say
Or
that was a
you-
bad call for me, but I was talked into by Landon, who you know I love and adore, who's like, just go for it, just go for it. So, all right, so yeah, I did not win that, so I admit that. But I tell you, if you look at my map, which is the thumbnail that I've been using for weeks now, I was pretty close to my thumbnail, really close to my thumbnail. The only states I had off was Florida and I think North Carolina. No. Wait, actually, what was it? No, I think I was Florida and something else. But I said Utah, I said Georgia, I said Nevada, I said Colorado, and so I had a lot of these states, and then I also had the Michigan, Wisconsin, as well, which were the swing states. So I think, all in all, I'm happy with my predictions because again, this was all over the place. But do you want to look at the next one? Who's next there, Bull?
Chris Attlee.
He done effed up.
Yeah, he's about the polar opposite of what it actually is right now.
Yeah, he also said Nevada was going to Trump.
No.
Yeah. And by the way, the foreigners got it wrong. I just want to point that out. Not that I'm against foreigners, love Australians, but yeah, Chris, way off the mark on this one.
The foreigners had less faith in you than you guys did in yourselves.
Right? Hey, I'll take the hit for calling it early with Trump. I'm perfectly fine with that. Admit my mistakes, get flogged for it for a little while.
You're like, look at me be happy that I'm incorrect. Yay!
Yeah.
Where is Chris? I'm checking his bias, says Dave Cowdrey, sorry. In the chat.
I don't know. He's not going to show up for a while. No, I'll confront him on it on Over and Under when we do the Over and Under show. All right, so Landon had pretty close to me too, 335, and he had almost the same electoral map coverage that I did. So I think Landon did exceptionally well. Again, Florida is the big discrepancy here between the 306 and what we had here, because Florida's 29 votes. So he had I don't remember, he got this extra point from her. Was it maybe? I don't know if it was New England. It could be New England second. But that 29 points, if we didn't go for Florida, Landon and I, honestly, would have been pretty much dead on. Would you agree?
Yeah.
So I'm pretty happy with that. I think that both Landon and I really were looking at the numbers. We were looking at the exit polls. We were looking at the many different sources. And now, granted, we had to call it after 7 hours of streaming. And we had to go by what was just by we were looking at. That's all we went by, which we tell people to do. Go by the actual numbers rather than some kind of visceral emotion. So I don't regret calling it for Trump. I'm happy that was wrong, but people understand why we came up with that, because we had to make a determination after 7 hours of streaming.
Like what you want and what your opinion is based on statistics aren't the same thing.
It's amazing how they can differ, isn't it?
Or based on information.
Yeah. Our wants don't change reality.
Facts don't care about your feelings.
Yeah, they don't care about your fifis. And by the way, I will just throw this out there because again, I don't want to have a long stream. For people that don't know the way America does the election, it's weird. It is weird. I know a lot of people do understand the electoral college, but what they may not know.
Weird.
Well,
it's because you're not really a country.
We're not. We're an illegal occupation for the Indian territories, actually, if you go by colonialism. But the fact remains is that Trump legally could actually get reelected. And the way that would come about is because he's doing all these shenanigans, right? He's doing these legal contesting of Georgia and Pennsylvania.
Shenanigans is a good word for it.
It is shenanigans, absolutely. And these cases are not going to go anywhere. But what they could do is throw things into such turmoil and chaos that it gets thrown by Congress to the House of Representatives. And if the House of Representatives, in theory, I think it's Article 12 that allows for this. Don't quote me on that. But the House of Representatives can actually just say, you know what, we don't care about the popular vote, because they don't. We don't even care about the electoral vote. What they can do is they can assign one delegate from each state, from a state. That one delegate can cast a vote, and that Trump could win with 26 votes. That actually could happen according to the way the Constitution is written, the way we do the elections. Now, has that ever happened? No, but it has gone to it has gone to the Congress in 1804 with Andrew Jackson. So, but that's how long ago it's been.
That's the closest it ever got was that.
Yes, but it was the closest. But could it, in theory, happen? Yes. Will it? No. But Trump's going to hold on to anything he can, right? So
every trick in the book.
Well, I don't. When's the last time a president didn't have a concession speech? Now, granted, he's not obligated to. Let me make it very clear. There's no obligation for a outgoing president that's for his during his lame duck session to say, hey, I concede, stand down, take down the signs, and it has to come down anyways, but stand down to his troops.
Oh,
and
yeah,
his campaigners.
There's no. It's considered graceful exit.
Yes,
is what it is.
So
yes.
This is what I was talking about last time, and people were in the chat.
But Trump has no grace.
And what I was saying was, there's a difference between what is the law and what should be expected, right? So it's not illegal for Trump not to give us concession speech or whatever, but it's kind of expected because it's the standard. But I mean, since when has Trump ever been even remotely close to hitting like the base level standard of anything?
Yeah, I don't see any class. I mean, he came in with no class. He's leaving with no class. Whether he gets on Marine One and goes away, because usually they'll just take him anywhere he wants to go, the outgoing president, or they take him out, escorted by the Secret Service. He's leaving on January 20th. It's done.
Whether he wants to or not, let's put that
right. I mean, granted, there is one escape or so for him to remain president, but we all know that's not going to happen. But he will go down fighting to the bitter end. And again, I still think because when he leaves, he kind of realizes he might be open to indictment and civil prosecutions or criminal prosecutions in a civil lawsuit.
Might be.
Well, Chris disagrees with me. He says no, they're not going to indict.
I've sat through Chesh's reading of his taxes. There's you want to talk about shenanigans? Oh my God, that man in taxes.
He paid like $700 in taxes or something, and that's not his personal tax. See, okay, here's the thing on his taxes. When Trump pulls this same thing, a lot of narcissists I see play, they use words differently in their mind. And so when he's saying that he pays taxes, he's talking about FUCA, SUCA, SUCA, all kinds of types of corporate taxes and stuff like that for employee benefits and employee stuff. He's not talking about personal taxes. He hasn't released his personal taxes. Now, I know New York wants his personal taxes, and he's actually gone to SCOTUS to try to prevent it. But when he's talking about taxes, he's not talking about the taxes you and I pay. In his mind, right? I mean, he's playing a word game, is what he's doing. So
yeah, I mean, there's that, and then there was that the whole thing that Mueller said: can a president be charged once they're not president anymore?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he can't. Now, he can't charge by being a sitting president, and we understand why, because he's got to focus on the responsibilities that he never did. I mean, Trump had to be... The briefings that they gave to him were in crayon. I mean, they had to dumb it down to the point because he wouldn't sit through any briefing. He couldn't understand them. He didn't want to understand them, so they basically just harped on one point until he got it. But if anybody that's ever been in his cabinet said he's an idiot, and he doesn't understand anything that they tell him, and so... why give him all this technical information if he has the IQ of a vegetable, right? But anyways, Todd decided to join us. Todd.
Yeah, I'm here.
Awesome.
Hello.
So
I was trying to figure out StreamYard. Can you hear me?
yeah. How was your predictions? Because I didn't have you on here.
It was on off and on. Yeah, it was off and on. I mean, a couple states went red that were supposed to go blue, and vice versa. But I mean, the overall outcome's still the same.
Right, but I mean, looking at the predictions here,
I had Biden winning.
You had Biden winning, but by how much?
A lot, or About 20 points more because I had Florida going to Biden, I had North Carolina going to Biden.
Yeah, North Carolina was
Yeah.
always iffy. Always iffy. I had it going. That's what I think originally I might have had it going to.
I am not a fan of North Carolina. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, no doubt. Sorry, Todd. All right.
Yeah.
Brandon called for Biden, but he didn't give how many election points. Jay Brown had 276 Trump. Jay Brown, dude. How'd you screw the pooch on that one, Brown? Damn.
Pessimism. That's
yeah.
how.
That's what that is. That's all that is
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Because what was it? 19 points. Hillary was up, and then it went
Look
the
at
other
this.
way.
Look
You
at
know
this.
what I mean?
2676 Brown. Okay. Leo Filius, 209, or to me, 293 Biden. That's only a 14-point difference. No, wait. What do you have? No, it's 30. What's the if he gets Georgia, which he has right now, but he doesn't. It hasn't been certified yet or anything. It hasn't been tabulated. So what's a 12-point difference? Is that right? So,
Yeah. I'm showing 290, 214 with I don't know how many are left.
I think Leo's the closest though with 12. I think Leo may win. Not that he wins anything, but he also
Is
said
the idea not to go over. I take it.
Well, you can go over and under. The over and under is fine. You can go over and under. It makes no difference. But he's the closest, plus or minus 12.
True.
And he said Florida to Trump, so he did get that right. Where Landon and I it was guesswork with Florida, not going to front. So it was like flipping a damn coin. Even though you live in Florida and said, yeah, no, it's not happening. All right, so Manya.
I had Texas possibly flipping too.
Well, no, we said that Texas may, but the chances were really slim. I mean, but like I said, the thought that of it even going blue was pretty remarkable.
Yeah, I'm a little bit proud of Texas just because they got close.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him that.
Tried.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him that. I mean, here's the thing: even if you don't succeed, but you see a trend, you see movement, you see growth. Let's appreciate that, right?
Yes, because it is possible for states to be the opposite from what they are. It just takes a certain amount of cooperation from voters to do it.
Yes, and look, Georgia flipped, but Georgia only flipped by a few thousand votes. I mean, it was basically, hey, good luck. Now, I was paying attention during the counting, and Clark County, was it Clark County or what was the county with the C in there? They had 4,000 to go left, and predominantly very heavy blue, and so the scuttlebutt was basically, yeah, it's gonna turn blue. So,
well, I mean, if it wasn't for voter suppression and intimidation and gerrymandering, Georgia would have been blue 2 decades ago.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah, that's the whole let's run the Biden bus off the road and let's drive through this town and intimidate a bunch of people who are voting and let's hang out outside of voting areas and fucking
How does that help Trump?
harass people.
How did that help Trump when they had trucks like?
You can open carry in Michigan, yeah.
But when you had all these people out there, all these Trumpians that were like clogging up the highways and arteries of the United States, so people couldn't get where they were going. People were being late for work. Who's going to stop and go, yeah, that's the president that I want to have that supports that stuff, that doesn't denounce that nonsense?
Well, you're in a situation too, right, where it's like, oh no, the Democrats are going to take our guns.
You're gonna
And
guns.
You're gonna carry your gun around being imposing to try and threaten people away from voting against the people that might take the gun away from the person who's trying to intimidate you.
Yeah.
What?
Some inception level
Right.
stuff.
Last
right there.
time I checked, what's the population? Like 350, 400 mil? There's like
330,
7 guns
340
per
mil.
one person.
Yeah, something. It was last
Yeah,
time I heard was
there's
330
7
mil, but
guns.
that was a while ago, so it's probably higher than that.
I'm
Yeah,
just saying by
there's
their
7
logic,
guns per person.
Not like that. I'm just using their logic, not even that they would take guns away from anybody. Not that
Yeah, no,
that's
I like guns. I don't own any now, but I used to have a shotgun. I used to have a 22 rifle. I used to have a Derringer. I used to have a Jennings. I used to have a Browning Buckmark. And
all those had purposes.
Yeah, no, I'd go out shooting. I'd go out to the. My assistant manager at Radio Shack was a deputy sheriff reserve, and so we would go out to the sheriff's range and shoot, and we would just go out to the rural areas. And yeah, no, I mean I like shooting. I'm a big fan of it. I'm not a hunter. But I'm all for having Second Amendment guns and stuff like that with responsible people, with background checks, and with firearm safety courses. I mean, I don't think that anybody should just go get a gun and go, oh, look, you're responsible enough to use it. No, I think there's some limitations, and I have no issue with that. That's not gun regulation. That's gun just common sense, right? I mean, so.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they did a count in 2010 that was 7 guns per person.
Yeah.
In America that had been sold since 1910, since they started.
Canada, and it was like, it was some ridiculous percentage of Canadians were like, yeah, no, add that regulation. That sounds like a great idea. Like, it's barely a contention here when there's changes to gun regulations. Yeah. It's really fun.
Yeah, no, and look, if they're all worried they're going to take their guns, I mean, I don't even understand where they get that argument from. It's like, what legislation has been passed for that? Oh, you might not be able to easily buy a AR-15. Oh, what a shame. But who cares?
And that's all.
Yeah. Thing with Americans, and you see it as spreading through social media because people in America think they're the only ones on social media. So if you're talking to somebody, they just assume they're American, and so you see this situation where people just are incapable of having a conversation, whether it be about guns, whether it be about free speech, or whether it be about, I don't know, something like completely mundane. It just gets like you're just shutting down the conversation instead of just talking about it.
Yeah, they muddy the water with a lot of hyperbolic emotional language rather than the actual topic itself, which is unfortunate. All right, so let's see here.
That's what the politicians do. That's what
Sure they do. All right, let's see here. We got WizBiz, who voted for Biden. Go Wiz. Sweet Heathen voted for Biden. Shocker. No, I'm just kidding. Of course she voted for Biden.
Communist.
Yeah. Brian Stevens, Biden. Sean Carroll, Biden. Milwaukee Atheist, Biden. Comic Nut. EBJJ Comic Nut, Biden, and he's foreigner. Well, I mean, he's Honduran, but he's also. Does he have dual citizenship? Because I know he comes to the States a lot. He might have dual citizenship.
Yeah, I think so.
He might.
I think so.
Stone Butt said 335.
Because he's from
Biden.
up north, like New York area.
Yeah, that's where he's originally from. He moved to Honduras, so I think that he actually probably has citizenship in both. Because you'd have if you want to.
Yeah, I think he's dual.
Yeah, you would have to come back to the States to vote. Like, for example, like Puerto Rico. If you live in Puerto Rico, you can't vote in Puerto Rico, even though it's a territory. It's not. They want statehood, I guess, but I mean, it's not a state, so it doesn't get any kind of representation. But
what's the other one they were gonna do?
I don't know. We have a lot. We have like
Puerto Rico, and there was 2 states they were looking at.
Guam. Or probably Guam.
Guam, okay.
Because we have 14 territories, if I'm not mistaken. There's like the Americans, Somalia, Guam, and a whole bunch of different islands, and so.
You mean American Samoa?
American Samoa. Yeah, American Samoa.
Yeah, I mean, and then you got the Republicans who freak out about adding states, and.
Is Diego Garcia? Diego Garcia is a territory too.
Not American.
I've been to Diego Garcia. But yeah, so Puerto Rico.
People forget we fought World War II with 48.
But I was going to say that Puerto Rico.
There's a lag.
I noticed. My bad. If you're from or if you're in Puerto Rico, you have to actually go to Florida or some of the states to vote. You have to actually come back to the mainland. So that's how they do that. Okay. Which, by the way, would be a great topic for discussion whether Puerto Rico should be a state. I don't know the pros and cons. Besides, they get taxes.
My only issue with them not being a state is its taxation without representation.
Yeah, and that
pay taxes.
Yeah, that would be the issue that I have as well.
Oh
yeah. All right, so let's see here. Stone.
I'd be down for it. I mean, let them vote it.
Yeah, well, they would have to if they became a state, they would have to have representation. Yeah, Canadian Virgin Islands. There you go, Smitty. But there's also, I mean, I don't know all 14 territories.
How many states do we have?
50.
How many states did we have in World War II? Like 48,
I don't know.
47?
I don't think Alaska and Hawaii were states back then, obviously.
Yeah, we didn't have 50, but
So 48.
But I heard the Republicans saying that the Dems got it, and we were going to add a bunch of states, we were going to add a bunch of judges, we were going to do all these things that they've already done. They already packed the courts, like 200 and some federal courts, and 2 on the Supreme Court or 3. You know what I mean? Like, it's just ridiculous.
Well, I think California should be 2 different states. Southern and Northern California are
Oh, yeah.
completely different. I'm fine with them splitting it in 2. All right, let's see here. We also got.
Why they also need to merge North and South Dakota.
No.
You don't need that many senators between those.
I see.
Per capita representation is just off.
There's more people in Denver than
Between
those
the
2
Midwest
states combined.
States.
Yeah, whatever. I don't care. I'm not for Carolina.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Hey, look,
it's
if you
off.
look,
It's
if
off
Southern
completely.
Carolina wants to be associated with the Northerners, I don't care. I'm with Chess. I'm not a big fan of.
No, not Carolina. Like Dakota.
Oh, Dakota.
Like
South Dakota. Oh, I don't care shit about that. That's fine.
Yeah.
There's like 6
Dakotas,
people
yeah.
that live in either state. It's all farmland.
Yeah.
It's all
Exactly.
so crazy.
Like, why do they need that many senators
Yeah.
in Utah, South Dakota, North Dakota, etc.? And then California gets 2, and they get all like 4 and 6, and put them all together.
And that's a good point. When you look
I
at
just think it's more per capita adequate representation.
I agree with you. And when you look at the map, people see a lot of red, but they don't realize that most of that is a very not dense population, right? That there's a lot of farmland, a lot of grazing land, a lot of.
I've seen 2 things that divvy it up really cleanly, and it's rural versus cities
urban.
and education.
Yes,
is
education gap. Yeah.
dividing lines on about where people are putting their vote and where people are living.
I agree that I would probably, if I had to put money on it, say that the more educated people probably voted Biden. And I'm not going to go as far as to say they voted Biden because they think Biden was some great candidate. But
they're not educated, by the way. It also doesn't mean that they're stupid.
Correct,
It just means that statistically
Higher education.
have less education or less consistent education in those states.
yeah, I totally agree.
Comparatively.
The real question is because in those states where you have a lot of cows and horses and sheep, do they get to vote because they're atheist?
The vote should go to the goats.
Because if they're atheists, they should get a vote.
They might be
because
2/5 or maybe 1/5.
If there was going to be another party added, what animal do they get?
The beaver.
That's too Canadian.
Ah,
How many beavers does it take to make up 1 vote, though? 10 beavers?
how about the? Oh my God! What is the name of that? The giant rodent, the biggest rodent on the planet. There's in Africa. What the hell are they called?
Capybara?
Capybara?
Yeah, capybara. Yeah. How about that? I love those.
How
They're
about you realize that if they're smart, they're gonna make it the bald eagle, right? Vote for freedom.
cute. America.
America, freedom votes.
Because America.
And even, and by the way, I'm all for this. I believe in conservation. And do you know that the laws for killing a bald eagle is like almost worse than killing a person? I mean, it is.
Up there.
You're going to jail. You're going to prison.
I thought it was 20 years in prison or something.
Yeah, it's like a couple decades, or like $25,000 fine, or $100,000 fine, or I don't know. It's a lot. I haven't looked at it in quite some time, but the law is written that if you kill a bald eagle, they will track you down. It is a huge thing. And
Yeah, I
access.
know somebody when I was up in Virginia Beach who did it,
Oh man.
or was in the paper. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
come on, Smitty. I didn't say that there weren't beavers in America. I'm just saying that the iconography
No, we killed
Is-
them all.
It would be
isn't gonna
confusing.
work for
Yeah.
a political party.
Yeah, agreed. All right, so Dr. Zarius, 278 Trump. Dr. Zarius, what happened, bro? Man, you have little faith. So that was Trump. Lisa Liu, Trump. Oh my goodness. Macabre. Trump.
Macabre, what's up with that, man?
And,
305 Trump.
I kid you not. Even though because I said, look, based on the forecast, it's going to be Trump, and I'm talking to Macabre. I look, okay, I concede. I'm going to give you $20, and because we had a $20 bet on it. And he's like, well, let's kind of wait what happens. And I'm like, okay, I definitely want to wait, but I mean, I definitely owe you $20. I have a feeling. And even though we were going to call it off, there's any shenanigans, like Trump doing shenanigans. If he would have won that way, it would have defaulted the bet. And I was all like, damn, I'm going to have to listen to McCobb and Chris Attlee come at me for like 4 years saying that, they won a bet. But
Right.
that ain't going to happen. Sorry, McCobb. Love you. But yeah, you call that
Got
one.
in.
I say, did you get that in writing about the shenanigans? Because
Yes.
he's definitely pulling shenanigans. For
Yeah,
Trump.
I got that in writing. Yeah. Because we were talking. And
Okay, good.
yeah, he
Good.
told me. Yeah. So no shenanigans. Let's see. Guadinez Ribir, $10. Or is it not $10? I get $10 from. I was looking at something else. Sorry. Trump. He went for Trump. Not sure if he's a foreigner or not. I don't know. And I'm not using foreigner pejoratively by any stretch of imagination.
Godens is not a citizen of the country.
Okay. So a lot of these foreigners seem to get it
Okay.
wrong here.
Roger.
Vanya and Chris. And Jay Brown's not a foreigner, but he still got it wrong. All right, Godless
Well, they just saw
Scummer.
what happened in the last one.
True. Vognut
Godless
says he had 305 for Biden, but didn't make the list. I believe you then. You would have been right there with Landon. So, because Landon and I had 304, 305 till we went with Florida, damn it. And New England second. So we were, again, I went with 334, so I got it wrong. But
Yes, Streber.
what?
Yes, Streber.
Geo Streber. Yeah, Geo Streber had Biden at 318. So not bad. Actually, you know what? I think that might actually be closer. 306. No, that would have been 13 difference. So, no, wait. 12 difference. So, did they tie? What is it? 30? No, it's not 306. Wait. How many does they have now? It's 306 with Nevada, right? I got to think in my head. So if you had 306 in Nevada, with Nevada, then it's 12 off with Geo Streber, right?
Right.
Okay, and then Leo had 393, which would have been 13 off? No, he had 392.
293.
293, so he would have 13 off. And so Geo
Right.
Streber would have been closer. Holy crap, maybe Geo Streber.
Geo.
Did Geo pull it out? Did Geo Streber
I
win?
think Geo pulled it off, yeah.
Geo
What?
Streber. No, what? The German?
The German.
Yeah,
Hey,
wow.
if anybody's good at elections, it's Germans.
One way or another, right?
Hey. Well, actually, I said that today. There was a hot take. Somebody said that it's 2020 and the Germans are celebrating the fall of fascism in America. What a time to be alive.
Yeah, exactly. That's brilliant, actually. Yeah, I know. Geo
Also,
Streber. Good.
Also, calling all patriots, it is MAGA night at the White House. The Million MAGA March next Saturday.
This is gonna have 3 people in it.
So there's going to be 1 million people who think Trump is the shit, all get together and get COVID so that they can be taken under the team.
It wouldn't even be 10%.
I
of
approve.
that. You're not going to get many people. But
I know.
yeah, Geo Streber at 318 is only 12 away, and Leo Filius 293 would be only 13 away. So yeah, pretty good. I say Geo took it. But let's go through this. Blue Falcon had Biden, and Saitin Brunicate, Mr. Precep himself, had Biden. Good job, Saitin, buddy.
Slide 10's not stupid.
No, he's not. I know that. I definitely know that. Yeah, he's just dishonest in some of his argumentations, but.
I can't stand the whole precept argument. It's a waste of time. Yeah, you can't get through your entire script. Sorry.
So there's been a lot of religious people that were so disappointed in Trump not winning that are still holding on hope. Like Greg Locke. Oh my God, he's just losing his
Oh
stuff.
God, that fucking guy.
Yeah, he's a real piece. And then my favorite
But
thing
the
was
lady you posted on Twitter.
who
Yep.
I was watching the videos with Paula White. Oh my God, is she lost her mind? Not that she ever had one.
Yeah, the lady you posted on Twitter.
Yeah, that Paula White. She's the
So-
spiritual advisor to Trump. But the raps that people did, he's taking her what she was saying. The angels are coming from Africa. The angels are coming from Africa, and they put it into like Eminem's rap, which was "Without Me." That was the greatest thing I've ever. I listened to that like 30 times or something. Yeah. And I love Hawk Skull. I love that one too. I'm a magnetine. I'm a magnetine. I'm here to burst your liberal spleen. Yeah, I love her, by the way. She's the one.
So
She
all
really
the-
helped
all the
get
Trump
Georgia.
2020.
What's that?
Sorry. All the Trump 2020 signs, because I drive around a lot of
They
back
all can
roads
come
in
down.
Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina.
Yep, take them all down.
No, well, they're a lot of the ones in people's front yards, they either ripped off the bottom where it said 2020 or they just spray painted over and wrote 2024.
Oh God. Yeah, actually,
Because I forgot he can run again.
yeah, he can run again because he only went one term. But most, it depends on
Right.
what county you're in. But most counties have statutes that the electoral signs have to come down the next day. There could be a couple $100 fine if you don't. So, but yeah,
And it's distasteful.
Yeah,
It's
so they
really
just ripped the bottom off.
good luck with
It's
2024.
It's really distasteful to leave it up there. It's just
I agree.
freaking trashy.
I agree.
Like it's trashy in the first place while
Yeah,
the
I
election's
agree.
going on, but it's understandable.
Yeah.
It is.
Afterwards, there's no fucking excuse.
Absolutely
And I
none.
sure as hell wouldn't put anything like that on my car if I had one.
Yeah, and why? Let me ask you, why would he even want to run in 2024?
Yeah, they all
I mean,
pop up.
the guy has been impeached. He's an impeached president. He's in disgrace. He's fighting the not have a concession speech or concede to Biden. Nobody's going to want him in 2024. You think they're
He's
going to
not
give him
going to be
crap?
eligible in 2024. I guarantee it, because he's going to be a convicted felon by then.
That might be true too. Yeah, he's got other things to worry about.
That's one thing that could happen because I am expecting them to try and get. I mean, because they've lost, provided that stays the case. I don't think I would be as concerned about Kushner or Ivanka or any of his sons.
Right.
Until like way down the line, like maybe Barron down the line decides to
Barron.
fucking do some shit.
Oh God,
I think Barron's going to probably grow up.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I think he's going to grow up saying, "I want nothing to do with this family whatsoever. Stay away from
We
me."
can dream,
Yeah.
but it's possible that all of them will be convicted felons by then. Because
Yeah.
They're all
Right.
have
Kyle makes some room.
issues. They can be cellmates.
Okay, so when
Yeah,
I was
Kyle-
reading through the tax
Yeah,
thing,
Kyle make room.
specifically Ivanka is mentioned, and yeah, that's some shady shit.
Yeah, she did consulting fees and all that. Yeah. I listened to that stream. That was pretty ingenious.
There's a lot. That was a big
Tax
stream.
evasion.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think any of them are going to really have much of a reputation. I think Donald Trump Jr. especially is just he's politically done. But 2024. Well, you know what? Here's one of the things. Let's worry about it then. Let's get through one thing at a time.
Yeah, can we please
Right.
not have your president campaigning for the next?
Hey,
4
did
years
anyone
while he's
forget
in
about
office?
the whole?
Go ahead.
Yeah, did anyone forget about the whole global warming by 2030 needs to be solved? You know, the whole
I think
The
Biden's
whole,
going to address
you
it. Look, Biden,
climate
I think,
crisis. Is that
think-
still a?
yeah, well, I think Biden, he's going to put us back in the Paris Accord.
Paris Accords, yeah.
Yeah. And he, I think he actually is scientifically minded. I think he is the antithesis of what Trump and Pence would be, especially Pence, right?
He's better than what you had.
Right.
Yeah. No,
It
again,
does seem like Harris, despite her political history, I mean, even Biden's political history has not been very good to a lot of people when it came to jail. Sometimes when it comes to politics, you have to push what you have to push at the time because you're working for the people. You're not working for yourself or your own ideals when you're a politician.
you talk about Kamala's putting mothers in jail for having their kids not going to school, that thing? Because
No,
Kamala
just
Harris
like,
was doing that for a while. And there's, obviously there's political pushback
Oh, really?
on that.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
yeah,
Mhm.
that was the thing.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm referring to a good number of things.
Okay.
Bills for putting people in jail for possession of drugs and stuff. And,
Oh, yeah, that all needs to
Right.
stop.
Right.
Yeah. There is.
I got a side note question about the 5th of November.
Uh-huh.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I've got lag. Did what happened with the 5th of November? Nothing. No response. No filings.
Yeah, nothing
There
came
can be. There couldn't be.
Oh, yeah, of course not. Yeah, we weren't expecting any filings.
Yep.
How could you file something that doesn't exist?
Yeah, I was just checking to make sure nothing new popped up.
No, of course not.
Right. He
that
didn't
their
respond at all. Yeah,
No.
typical.
despite that their political history might not be the ideals that you would want now, it does not. They're operating in an entirely different situation. They are not operating in like 1985. This is 2020. So there is hope that whatever they pushed in the past will be something that they can now they're in a position to overturn. So there's hope there.
Yeah, I mean, so many people are saying like Biden might be a one-term president, and that might be the case. I mean, he is up there in age, and he might just want to give it to Kamala Harris. She would be the first woman president. I mean, she's
Indian
the first.
American also.
Yeah, okay, I don't know if I like that or not, or if that seems like bullshit. Well, the woman couldn't win on her own, so we ran this old white man, and then he just gave it to her.
Yeah, take what you can get, woman.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know.
baby
Right?
steps,
I mean-
baby steps, right?
I don't know. It's kind of like
she's also Indian American and female, and it's a lot of boxes
biracial too.
minorities. So.
So she's got a lot
Yeah.
of
Like that's a lot.
she's like what was on Saturday Night Live. The skit was she's got more boxes checked than a Florida invalid ballot. That was one.
Now, if she was
that was
only
hilarious.
transgender or
Yeah,
lesbian,
exactly. If she
we
was
get a hat trick.
bisexual, man, she'd be president tomorrow. Exactly. But yeah, I think going by the numbers there, I think GeoStreamer had the best prediction, and we're never going to hear the end of that from GeoStreamer now. Don't tell him this.
No,
okay?
oh come on, he probably already knows. Somebody
I'm sure he does. Sure he does.
Can someone pronounce his name correctly? Because
Never.
I was murdered.
GeoStreamer.
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 Yeah, right.
GeoStreamer.
Like I'm never going to get that right, please.
No, you're not.
Never.
No.
You're just
I'm never
forget
gonna
it.
happen.
I'm not even going to try. I don't
Murder.
know. I don't even know how I'm saying it differently. From
I don't
you.
even think I'm saying it right. So
It's the
Whatever.
first part. I had the Geo.
GeoStreamer.
GeoStreamer.
Gleis. Why does German have to be so hard?
Because it's complicated, like everything they do.
They got well, the way from what I understand with German, they basically throw the words together to make one big longer word. You know?
Yes, they do.
Right?
They're
So
very
it's like when-
So
practical.
you can make up your own
words.
words just by throwing things together. You know.
The name of our
But
city
it's
where
just
I was stationed.
over-engineered.
The name of my city where I was stationed was Schweinfurt. It literally is a place where a pig farmer drives his pigs across
Yeah.
the river.
Well, have you ever heard what's called a morpheme? In English, there's what's called a morpheme. A morpheme. A morpheme would be like the smallest unit of the language that has some kind of intelligibility to it. Like, for example, ing is a suffix. A suffix, or you can have a prefix, like non, or something that has it has meaning to it, right? But it's not a complete word. It's usually added to something. It's a unit that has some kind of meaning. It's called morpheme. And the way Germans do it is basically they'll say, okay, here's a word that has some kind of meaning to it. We're going to put them together like a conjunction of some kind, like one big, massive word. That's where you end up with these huge words. So they can look in and look at each individual morpheme kind of thing and say, okay, I can understand what this word means, right?
I
That's the way I
I
look
you're
at
saying
German.
morphine. Are
No,
you
no,
saying morphine or morph?
No, morpheme. Theme.
Okay,
Not F.
theme. I got
It's
you.
morpheme. Morpheme.
Morpheme,
Okay, theme.
not phine.
Yeah, that's how you spell it.
Okay.
Yeah, so but that would be like a suffix, a prefix, or an affix. In
it'd be
language.
really funny if a bunch of people wearing like blue and had Biden flags all showed up at this Million MAGA march.
Right?
They get murdered. There
Riots.
would be murder.
So are you guys surprised that there hasn't been as many riots? I'm actually kind of in a way, but at the same time, I don't think people. I think they realize that it's not going to do any good. I mean,
I'd have actually
I'm surprised
suspected
the
more.
right-wing riots.
I was gonna say I would suspect more people would riot if Trump had won.
might be correct on that. But you know what?
Yeah.
You know what they're doing instead?
I'm waiting. Yeah.
You know what they're doing instead? They're out there celebrating in the streets, like on the highways, celebrating that Trump has run for hours, hours, and hours. That's a huge difference between rioting and now you have people celebrating instead. So
I think that
They tore up
there's-
downtown Chapel Hill like.
I think part of that is that because there's a delay in turnover, right? There hasn't really been much of a call to action yet that Trump's made that people can
Right.
like latch onto.
It's
So because
It's-
of the delay
like
in
definitive
when the election,
win, like-
when the election is versus when the turnover actually happens, that's stalling rioting. Whether it'll stop it, no. Hey, what do I know? I'm just a Canadian.
No, I heard a lot of right wing groups say that there was going to be like, a race war or, just basically a war period, blue versus red.
It would probably
like
be a class war.
The 3%ers and all the right wing nuts, the gun people that just were like, it's going to get stolen from Trump. And if that happens, we're going to go out in the streets and basically take over. Like the same people that tried to kidnap the Michigan lady.
Yeah.
Or wherever she was. Those type of people. I'm surprised they're not out in mass doing dumb stuff, since it's obvious that Biden's going to win now, even though Trump still says he's going to win somehow because he's claiming.
Well,
States,
I love the fact that everything he does on Twitter there basically comes with a warning label by Twitter.
Yeah, that's so great. Oh God! Like I say one thing and I get hidden or whatever for a week, but he spews lies as the president, and they're just like, "Warning, this is misleading." And it's
Yeah,
like,
what's propaganda? How is it?
It's a straight up lie.
Well, let me ask you, how is it any different than Sputnik News Agency putting out Russian propaganda? How is it any freaking difference? I'm serious. I'm not trying to be hyperbolic. It is legit governmental disinformation. And I'm you know me, I'm not a conspiracy nut.
Well, that's why they cut him. Well, they cut him off in his speech the other night. I was watching it on MSNBC, and they cut off his speech midway through when he just started spewing BS. And then I flipped over to CNN, and they cut him off too. And I couldn't find it on any station. Like he was still speaking.
Yeah,
but
they said no, not going to do it.
Mid speech.
Yep. Exactly.
It's just all unsubstantiated, just stuff he's pulling out of his ass.
Yeah, I agree.
Somebody called him the conspirator in chief instead of the commander in chief, and I thought it was hilarious.
Yep.
Because he was just spewing conspiracy theories left and right.
But what do you guys think in the live chat there? How close were you guys? Even Twitter said they're done with this. Oh, I was going to ask, and I asked on Twitter, do you guys think that Trump will lose his account at some point, account suspended after he gets out of office? Not his POTUS, obviously. POTUS goes to whoever the president is, but I mean his personal account. I think there's a high probability that might happen. Even with 80 million some odd people, I think even Twitter, somebody even like Sean Carroll said, I think Twitter's had enough too. They're like, no, you keep violating our TOS. The
only reason they haven't cut him off already is because he was the president.
Let me correct this too, because atheist linguist is correct. I didn't get to describe it fully, but he's a PhD in language. He says actually a morpheme could be a whole word as long as it's not reducible into smaller morphemes. Jump, for example, is both a word and a morpheme. Yes. So a morpheme, it would be any word or suffix or affix or prefix that has the ability to be intelligible and have meaning to it, assigned to it. So yes, a word like jump or run, it's like that would be a
incoming is actually three morphemes.
Incoming. Right. Yeah. So I just didn't get a chance to explain that.
I get it now. That makes sense.
It's almost syllables, but not quite.
Version of it. Okay, breaking news 54 minutes ago. President Trump plans to brandish obituaries of people who supposedly voted but are dead, plus hold campaign-style rallies in an effort to prolong his fight against apparent insurmountable election results. For Trump advisors, tell me Axios. So it's on Axios.
Instead of calling that insurmountable election results,
Trump to continue to hold
call that
rallies.
democracy in his fight against democracy.
Yeah, I mean, he's made a mockery out of the election by throwing out there that it has been fraud with no evidence for it. I mean,
He's
that
been
is
making
just.
mockery of a lot of things.
There's more evidence of the 2016 election being fraudulent than this one.
Well,
I
Yes,
don't know
I
how
agree.
because of
Cheetos-
Russia, right?
the cheesy
Yes.
Yes.
are going to survive with this tarnishment on their names.
I don't know either. But here's
Well, he
here's
has to.
I'm looking at it this way, and again, I'm just trying to be as objective as possible. If Biden and his team were this competent to get a multi-state level, fraud going on to steal the election of this magnitude, he's who I want right now.
Right.
That's pretty brilliant machinations. I mean, the skill
Yeah, to be
level to pull that
fair.
off. Yeah, we that's amazing because that's no possibility of that.
I think Defango's in the chat saying, "Are you guys serious? No evidence?"
What's
Yeah, Trump says a lot of things that he has no evidence.
Yeah, I
for.
mean, remember he was like,
Now, when other people scrounge up plausible ideas or things that
Sure,
might indicate
sure.
something, sure. But Trump is claiming fraud, and he can't back that up.
yeah, remember when he was talking about, they found all these mail ballots
Oh,
in a
well, here it is
stream
talking
in a
about that.
river, and that
Well,
was untrue.
yeah? It's right here. It said, obits for those who cast ballots are part of these specific pieces of evidence, in quotes, aimed at bolstering the Trump team's so far unsupported claims of widespread voter fraud and
Yeah.
corruption that they say led Joe Biden's victory. Fueling the effort is the expected completion of vote counting this week, allowing Republicans to file for more recounts.
Yeah,
So are you?
And
let
they
me
say
make
the
sure I
Trump team is
understand.
ready to announce specific recount teams.
I want to make sure that I understand this. This guy allowed and enabled the death of too many Americans due to the pandemic. And
Yeah,
now he's
250,000
going
or
to
more.
use people who have died in that pandemic to try and undermine democracy in America.
It would appear so.
The
One by
audacity.
state,
Well,
Wow.
look, anytime they've ever seen any kind of election fraud, it has been on the most nominal scale. I mean, we're talking a handful of
It's
people.
been
You know,
a handful.
yeah, a couple people
Not
that voted
enough to-
twice.
Not enough to sway. Not enough
even
to
remotely
sway.
close.
no.
Not even remotely close.
Well, they're announcing
There was that
specific
one
recount
town that
teams
won
in
with
key
Biden
states.
by one vote.
Yeah, well, Georgia can't do a recount till
Right.
it's certified. It hasn't even been certified yet, so they can't do a recount. And obviously,
Well,
Trump would
Val-
have to request it.
They're doing
And
it
by the way, hang on, real quick.
nationwide with
Hang on,
rallies
hang on,
to
real quick.
support.
By the way, hey, just to let you know, thank you, Citizen Z, for taking a listen, and he's unsubbed. But just to let you know, this is not LAX. You don't have to mention your departure time, okay? If you want to go, you just leave. We really don't need to know that you unsubbed. Thank you.
Right.
It's,
I mean, to be fair,
We appreciate it.
There's nothing to say that we couldn't have a conversation. We're just not having that conversation right now. There are other times to have that conversation.
Right.
yeah. But yeah, no, I can
So
say right
the
now, I don't
plan
think
is the group is staffing.
Go ahead. You got a hell of a lot of lag, by the way, Todd. What is it? Your connection on Wi-Fi?
I know. That's you guys sound fine, and then it just comes in so slow.
Go ahead.
It was just saying that they're going to hold a bunch of rallies in a campaign-style media operation at the rallies, and then the rallies are going to fund it, and they're going to do it in Georgia, Arizona, Pennsylvania. So those are the main ones.
Yeah. To what end? To what end? I mean, Pennsylvania had a pretty good lead, but I mean, do the Republicans really want this to happen? I'm telling you, the more they allow Trump to do this, the more it mars them ever getting a chance to get reelected ever again. It's going to bite them in the ass in
Right.
the next Senate
Republican
races.
Party versus the Republican voters versus.
Yeah,
Like-
I think it's going to backfire on them. I think it's going to tarnish them. I think it's going to have repercussions for a long
There
long
has
time to
been
come.
only one Republican that I have noticed had any kind of integrity, and it was the Mormon.
Mitt Romney.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
What?
Well,
How did that happen? How
the
is
guy with
Mitt
the swollen
Romney-
jowl.
I mean, I'm like I said, I'm not a conspiracy person. I can tell you right now, I don't think for a second that they're going to find any type of fraud to make any bit of difference whatsoever. And then, DeFango come back and apologize, which is fine. And look, if I'm wrong, hang on. If I'm wrong and they find fraud and Trump gets reelected, I'll be the first person over DeFango's channel going, hey, I was wrong. I think that's fair, isn't it?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Right?
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
You run into a bit of a problem, though. If the collusion that happened in 2016 isn't good enough, then what could Biden have done that was worse than the way Trump's campaign staff worked in 2016?
Yeah. What could he have done worse? I mean,
if that wasn't enough evidence, if that wasn't good enough between the amount of tax shit that I read through and the meetings with Russian agents,
they could if they couldn't win then, if they couldn't get Hillary. I mean, they couldn't get
Hillary, and they didn't get Trump on any of these supposedly fraud electoral stuff. What is it that Biden has done or the DNC has done that trumps what they've done?
Good question. I have no idea because I fully agree with you. If they were going to have this, if they were going to have this level of machinations,
his son left a laptop somewhere.
Fuck, I don't give a shit about Hunter's laptop. If they're going to have this level of machinations, then they would have done it during the Hillary thing because they had the Russian. Yeah, I do think there's Russian influence. I do think there's some Chinese influence. That I will go with.
That's what the FBI said. Yeah. The FBI concluded that there was, or the special counsel or whatever concluded that there was Russian influence.
Yeah, but they couldn't get Hillary voted in. So I mean, the DNC couldn't do that with Hillary. Why the hell are they going to? What do they do different with Biden?
Steve, the Russian collusion wasn't in Hillary's favor.
No, I know that. I get that. It was for Trump's favor. But
the point being is there was never a confirmed election fraud in 2016.
Yeah.
So what
happened?
What would have happened this time?
Yeah.
In 2020, what would have happened this time that would have allowed Biden to win?
And that's the question. That's depressing. DeFango has spoken out against people who are liberals behaving in the way he just did. He came in here, yelled about election fraud, and left. Had he stayed long enough, he would have heard us have this conversation, which could have set up another conversation.
He just did that?
Yeah, and here's the thing. People aren't allowed to disagree. It's like if you disagree, I'm not going to come by because I disagree with you. I'm not going to sub to you because I disagree with you. Hey, newsflash, I have a lot of channels that I sub to and I listen to that I don't agree with. Now, it's not as much as I used to because I don't listen to that much, and has anything to do with whether I agree or don't. But I used to listen to channels. Look, I'm not a big fan of what Dusty Smith puts out, called a Dusty. But I get along with the guy. I was in his chat the other day. I gave him a couple bucks for because he does home shelter for animals kind of stuff, no kill shelters, and I'm really a big fan of that. But I listen to him, and some of the stuff I agree with, some stuff I don't. But I don't listen to channels I disagree with. Isn't that what we're supposed to do? And you certainly don't just say, "Oh, look, you're all wrong," and not provide any evidence, not even going to have the discussion.
Dude,
I don't see a point to that.
He's all hyped up. He's all hyped up because that's what Fox News and Trump have.
Yeah,
everybody all hyped up about it being fraud.
Because I'm disappointed. That's all.
Yeah.
I only
exactly. I like DeFango. I really do. I am a little disappointed he doesn't want to have the conversations rather than just say, "Oh, look, you guys are all wrong, and Trump is right." Okay, well, let's talk about it.
I would have loved to set up another show on another day because again, that wasn't what we were talking about right now. I would have been more than happy to have another show on another day, set it up, time it out, come on together and have that discussion and actually talk about it. Yeah.
But we got a super chat.
Live stream tomorrow.
Super chat.
Maybe it's just
you got one super chat to stream. Cajun Crustacean for $5. On January 20th, can we remove him from the White House via catapult, or should we upscale to a trebuchet? I think
trebuchet.
Clearly, that's the only way to catapult somebody. Yes.
One giant rubber band.
Like a giant slingshot.
Can we use the weight of the trebuchet being his debt? Can we make his
Hey.
debt the weight?
$440 million or something like that. Which, by the way, I'm not even going to. That's not really that big a deal because that was a what was it, a short-term loan that he was expected on his books anyways. But I think there's a whole. I think if they get his personal taxes, I think they're going to be in for some rude awakenings. I think Trump's in trouble. I really do. I think because when he loses the presidential immunity of prosecution when he gets out of office, which is going to be again escorted by the Secret Service on January 20th or by his own volition. I'm hoping by the way that is. I would love to see him kicking and screaming when they take him out of the office. That would be like icing on the cake. And it was, by the way, I don't know if you guys saw this. Did you guys see really Giuliani's this debacle?
Oh my god!
With the Four Seasons thing, that was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Is that not perfect a way to end Trump's presidency?
I think that's a lot of catharsis
What, Borat?
for a lot of people.
No, not Borat. No. So what happened was Rudy Giuliani was going to have a speech, and they booked it at what they thought was the Four Seasons Hotel, but Trump had actually tweeted it out at the Four Seasons. Well, it was the Four Seasons, but not the hotel. It was a Four Seasons landscape company, which was next to a crematorium and an adult bookshop.
Oh, that sell the lights and stuff. Oh.
It was a small. It was like this small.
I
little,
buy lights from Four Seasons.
Yeah, it was just some small little, landscaping business next to like an adult bookstore, and they're having this little, Trump rally kind of thing.
Hilarious.
With the Giuliani. I'm like, wow, somebody lost their job over that. That's for sure. That was hilarious.
Does StreamYards have an app or something? Because I think this is the first time I've used StreamYards, and I think it's the lag is because Meets it doesn't do it. It's probably the StreamYards. It's not my internet, but it's horrible lag.
Yeah, we usually get some lag on vMix, although it hasn't been that bad lately. Actually, it's gotten a lot better. I don't see it on Meets as much. You're the first person at StreamYards that I've seen this kind of lag with. To be honest, it's usually pretty good.
It's the first time I'm using it, and it's just.
Are you on a phone?
It's not great. No, I'm on the computer.
Okay.
But I'm using my Bluetooth on the computer, so
That's true.
for my headset. But yeah, no, it should be fine. And I'm plugged in. I'm not on Wi-Fi either. I've got the Ethernet. So.
All right. Well, we're not going to wrap it up anyways.
It's weird.
When you guys see Geo Streber, let him know that I think we all agree that he got the closest. We're going to give it to him. Give it to the German. All right. So let me put this there. Congrats. Bless you.
Congrats. I'm trying to figure out who Mac Ton is talking to in the chat. Doesn't seem to be actually conversing with anybody.
Going to court, dumb fuck.
See, most minority vote of Republican. Let's vote. I'm assuming you meant for Republican.
Seems to be talking to him.
No, they aren't. As long as
I know Mac Ton. Mac Ton's been around a long time.
Cajun Crustacean.
It's not going to court,
him,
though.
I think.
Yeah, no, it's not going to court. No, they've already denied almost everything that he's put out.
He's going to get laughed out of court.
Yeah, even the judges are saying these attorneys that are putting these things forth are they've lost their minds. Yeah.
On a sad note, Alex Trebek
what do you think the new
right
woman?
after Sean Connery?
Yeah,
and
Alex
people.
Trebek.
Yeah, so people have been putting out the memes on Saturday Night Live. We meet again, Trebek.
You know what? I think that Sean Connery would probably appreciate that.
I had a question about the new.
What?
The new Supreme Court justice. I had a question about. Do you think she would recuse herself, or do you think she's like?
There's no.
I heard some conspiracy theories that she'd be like a troll.
I have no idea. I don't know her politics that well. I don't think she's going to be loyal to Trump, though. I don't think anybody will be after this. He's going to be toxic.
I hope not. I really hope not.
Mac 10 says, hey, Steve, just wanted to swing by and say thanks for always being intellectually brave and honest, a true anti-analog, been sub for a very long time. Oh, yeah, Mac Ton has been here very, very
Yeah, that's why I was a little surprised by what
But I disagree with the
Mac
Ton. I don't think it's going to go to court. I think it's going to be completely just a bunch of pomp and circumstance by Trump bloviating and doing his usual kicking and screaming childish stuff.
Did you guys see some of the transcript from the court so far?
For the things that Trump has put in?
For what?
Okay, so one of them. Oh, you know what? Keep talking. I'll find it. I'll find it.
Goblin
It's
Reads
funny if
time?
I can
Is it a
find
Goblin Reads the court transcript?
Hey, I'm taking over everything.
Yeah, just remember, we
A
still
go-
have 2.5
a
months
gobbler
left to
reads the
go.
court
I mean, so what we need to all do is we need to have a prayer circle, make sure that we send thoughts and prayers to Brady White that she makes it. Keith Richardson. You know, if they go, we're done.
I feel
game
angels coming from Africa.
I feel the angels are coming from Africa. They're being sent to be delivered from Africa. They're going to stop the deaths from
angels coming
2020.
from Africa. I'm a lamina
shamana raw. You know. She's not helping her party either. Bunny stretch the imagination.
Kellyanne Conway's gonna be gone. Thank God.
Yeah, right?
That bitch.
Oh, you know what? You know what's so funny? Did you watch?
No, Kellyanne. Screw Kellyanne. Huckabee Sanders.
They were both bad. They're
She's
both
been
cut
gone
from the
for a
same
while.
cloth. But did you watch Kellyanne Saunders
Yeah.
trying to deflect from questions when they're always like, but he lied, you know, the president lied. Well, no, he didn't lie. He did no, he said this. This was a lie. This is, I mean, there's not even
Demonstrable.
My favorite
lie.
thing that Huckabee Sanders said was she hoped that she was going to be remembered and known for being honest.
That didn't happen.
It
Oh
was
my God, that
really
woman!
funny.
Yeah. Okay,
When
first
she
of all,
I found
took
it.
over
well, here's the thing.
job,
Look, if you're the White House press secretary, I will concede this. It is your job to lie in some capacity. I'm not going to deny that. I understand there's politics involved, right? However, these are
it's called
such
spin.
yes,
It's not lying. It's spin.
there's a bias there, right? That's their job, and I completely understand that. I'm not going to fault them for that. However, when you lie to the degree where you're outright blatantly going against reality, like, hey, Trump never downplayed the virus. What? What? That is
Here's a
completely
recording of it.
against reality. What he did. It could even showed it. Yeah, Barr, Pence. Thank you, group. He put out
Here's
goodbye.
evidence.
Hang on, he put out goodbye. Gup says in the live chat, goodbye. Barr, Pence, Abrams, Pompeo, Mnuchin, DeVos, McKinney, Miller, Ross, Wheeler, Perdue, Carson, Wolf, Cuccinelli, Esper, Azar, Radcliffe, Chow, Meadows, Kudlow, Kushner Jr., and Ivanka. There you go, man. The whole cabinet's gone. Now,
Kudlow.
you know, and here's the funniest part. When you guys remember when Trump was elected, he didn't even have a cabinet ready. Usually when you're running, you already have your kind of a cabinet picked out.
Well,
kind
yeah,
of thing,
you picked
right?
it out.
Yeah, he had no
Well, he didn't
cabinet
expect to
picked out.
win. That was the thing.
Yeah. But here's also the thing. I don't think they have a single exit strategy right now.
Oh,
You know? So he didn't have an intro strategy, and he doesn't have an exit strategy, which
He
is,
didn't
He hasn't
expect to
had a
win, and then he
strategy
didn't expect
the
to
entire
lose.
time.
Yeah.
His strategy is, I need to stay out of jail.
yeah,
Oh shit, I got
Yeah.
elected. I didn't think I would win. Now what do I do?
yeah.
But I don't want to lose though.
Well, there's a couple things at play. One, he doesn't want to lose because he's a narcissist, right? So he's got that. He thinks he's the best president of all time, even though he will go down as probably the worst or one of the worst at the very least. I think it's going to, in history, is going to treat it as the worst. But I'm not a historian, and I know there have been other presidents in the past that were rated very, very, very low for whatever reasons. But I could definitely say that he does not like to lose, right? He doesn't like losers, according to him. In fact, the disgusting thing he said about John Cain about, I don't like, people that get captured kind of thing. Well, that was that solidified,
That solidified him losing in Arizona.
Yeah, that was just dumb. And people will say, well, I don't like, candidates that lose their reelection for president kind of thing.
So, okay, I found the tweet, and it's by Steve Valdick, who's he's like a law professor and stuff. I linked in the chat so you can go look up who he is a little bit more if you'd like. In case you're wondering why none of these Trump's lawsuits are going anywhere, screenshot. Trump has gone to federal court seeking an injunction against Philadelphia to stop the court counting of any ballots so long as Republican observers are not present. Judge Paul Diamond to the Trump campaign lawyer, Diamond, are your observers in the counting room? Trump campaign, there's a non-zero number of people in the room. Diamond, I'm asking you as a member of the bar of this court, are people representing the Donald J. Trump for
Yes.
president, representing the plaintiffs in that room. Trump campaign lawyer.
Yes.
Yes. Diamond, I'm sorry, then what's your problem? From the same hearing.
They wanted him 6 feet, yeah.
From the same hearing, Trump campaign lawyer, Your Honor, there's one more dimension to this problem. Judge, the width?
They wanted nuts on their backs, last night I put it. And by the way, yeah, I was talking about McKinney, not Caleb McKinney, not what's her name? But because Caleb McKinney was the White House spokesperson, I do know that actually. The other one was the advisor to the president, but still, they both need to lie. Kellyanne Conway wasn't the spokesperson for the White House spokesperson, but she was the presidential advisor. She has to lie. I was just using the presidential spokesperson like McKinney as an example, but I just kind of conflated them. So you're right. My bad on that. Can you really tell the difference any longer with some of them?
No.
Yeah, exactly. So Mac Todd's really he's fighting for Trump, really fighting out there.
I think he's mad about what the judge said.
Yeah, I mean the judge is even telling them, "What are you complaining about here?"
Do you not have people representing him in the room, in the counting room? There is something. What? No. How could you add? Like, they had to ask him as a member of the bar. Like,
there's a non-zero number.
There is a non-zero number.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the judges are sick of this. The judges are even saying these lawyers are finding this stuff. It's just nonsense. So, by the way, why'd you time out Mac Todd?
Because if you've been watching the chat, he's kind of been being a volatile.
And I know, but Mac Todd's been here forever. He's old school.
It's not about how long he's been here, Steve. It's about he needs to calm down. He's just in timeout. He'll be fine.
All right.
You're coming in, calling everybody a moron is kind of abrasive. If you want to have a conversation,
we'll take a break, Mac. Just breathe, man. Breathe. Because a lot of people do know.
That whole side's wound up like that. Imagine if they all had ARs and they're out in the street.
I don't think he's a Trumper.
Trucks with the flags.
I don't think he's a Trumper.
He's not a flag with the truck.
No, Mac Todd is not a Trump. He's basically saying he's not a Trumper.
Yeah, I would say I want to ask Mac Todd
why he was arguing going to court.
But I want to ask Mac why does he think Trump should? Let me ask him this. Does he think Trump should give a concession speech right now? Do you think he'd be done? I mean, why is he putting through America? America's been through enough the 4 years. They don't want Trump. The whole world's sick of Trump. Everybody's sick of Trump. Why can't he just go out gracefully like every other president? Why does he have to stir all this stuff up and have these frivolous lawsuits that are not going to go anywhere? As a matter of fact, they're not going anywhere now. I think zero out of 9 he's already had have gone nowhere. Have gone anywhere. I think out of 9 he's got none of them. So
he's saying wait for evidence. Well, yes, we wait for evidence, but when the evidence isn't forthcoming, then it's kind of
there should already be evidence. Why should we have to wait for anything? You have to make the accusations. There already be evidence on the table. Where's the evidence?
There's two different things going on here. There's two different things. And they have two different expectations. It's expected that there isn't fraud. That's the starting point. You assume no fraud. Yeah. You're not in this middle ground that says there could be or there couldn't be. You start off from you assume there hasn't been any.
I'm going to go with that assumption, sure.
There hasn't been any historically. Yeah. Anything that's historically has been found, if there even has been. So there's no that your starting point isn't neutral. Your starting point is that we assume that there is no fraud. Then somebody comes to the table with the claim there is fraud. And so, okay, so now you need to show how there is fraud. So then saying, oh, you're all morons and you need to wait for the evidence by us saying we haven't seen any indication of fraud. You look, okay, take the Kyle case, for example. Nobody assumed Kyle was frauding things. Nobody even thought to look until there was a reason to think that maybe there was fraud. And then we looked and found fraud. We didn't assume everything on this neutral point.
And let me explain why I think that's perfectly fine to assume that. When you say, okay, why is it okay to assume that these elections have no fraud. Shouldn't you be neutral? And Steve, you're agnostic. No, because we have priors. When you have
Right.
priors of historical elections which didn't have fraud, you can base a reasonable inference from those priors to say, look, I am going to assume that the election doesn't have any fraud until there's evidence to the contrary. I'm okay with defaulting in that position. It is evidential in that case. So it has you don't have to remain agnostic on every single proposition if you have priors, you know. But it's completely up to you. Again, you don't have to. Again, but I find nothing wrong with somebody justifying it that way.
Yeah, there's something to be said for whether or not somebody is like you can't live your life based on complete neutrality every single time.
Yeah.
You have experience, you have knowledge, or you have beliefs based on that experience. And so you also don't tend to look for fault if you don't have a reason to think that there's any fault to begin with.
Yeah.
So if you don't no reason to check for fraud. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It just means you don't have there's no suspicion of it. But if something that is at that kind of intense scale as it would have to be for what President Trump is saying is accurate is astronomical, and it really shouldn't be that difficult to cast doubt with what you would need to show to give that some kind of credence.
And it's kind of funny because I'm not a big fan of extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. I think that ECRI has some issues to it, which one day I'll get into with Dr. Fuzrana on Agree to Argue. That's one of the topics we want to bring up. But I do think that it's kind of notable that a lot of people that do hold to extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence are so willing to say, oh well, there's election fraud.
It's super selective. Yeah.
Right. It's like there's a little bit of hypocrisy there. So yeah. Link the debate. So Reds has a debate at 5:30. I don't know what it's about. I assume it's probably related to something about flat Earth, which, by the way, if you haven't figured out by now, it's not flat. I don't know what else to tell you.
Actually, I think it's about the election.
No.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, tell me.
No,
Okay.
no.
I'm sorry. I haven't talked to Reds today. He's been. Well, actually, I kind of did for a second.
It's actually about the Second Amendment.
Oh, wait. What does Reds know about the Second Amendment? Amendment. He does not. No, I'm just kidding.
I guess we're gonna
He
find
had a
out.
Ruger that one
Pretty
time.
sure Reds has a gun.
Yeah, I know.
Just saying.
I know he does. I look. He's a pro. I'm pro guns too. I mean, but who's debating him? What they shouldn't have guns? What's actually the topic of the debate?
I don't know the exacts, but if you look
Interesting.
into Nikki's been talking to.
Is the Second Amendment going to be gutted? So yeah, it is about the election. It's just about one particular.
Interesting.
No, it's not.
It's not. You know, these are all scare tactics they do every election, right? Oh,
well, yeah, it's definitely election. It's definitely election related. It's predicated on whether or not Biden won. But
but it's just election rhetoric. I mean, we hear it all the time. They're going to take away our guns. They're going to take away our jobs. Women ain't going to have bodily autonomy. But anyways, we're going to wrap this up so we can go over there, and I actually got to make a phone call. If you guys want to be a member to this channel, we do appreciate it. You get a little green thing, a little symbol. I know Richard Nielsen and Cajun Crustacean. I do appreciate all my members and the Patreons. Link is in the video description. It is super important to me because I survived on this. I think tomorrow, Chester and I for Caffeine Corner might do a little bit more on political stuff. I think we decided. Is that what we want to do?
Yeah, I think we should. Well, we'll talk about that.
All right, but we do either way. We have Caffeine Corner tomorrow
It's kind
morning.
of hard to stay away from it.
Related, I kind of want to talk about Kellyanne Conway being in charge of education and who maybe
Has no
would be
education.
and how much better of a job we're gonna do.
Yeah, I mean, Kellyanne Conway, correct me if I'm wrong, has no experience in education.
Oh God, she's
none.
the worst.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember. Wasn't it Kellyanne Conway when they said, "Okay, you plan to open schools? What's your plan to do it?" And she had nothing. Yeah, nothing.
Hire Betsy DeVos. That's my plan.
Betsy DeVos. That's who it was. Betsy DeVos. Oh yeah, oh man, she
I
has
donated
no
$1 million
experience
from my chicken money. Yeah.
to get this
Well, I
position.
have a
Yeah,
question
Betsy
for you
DeVos.
before
That's
we
what I was
get
thinking of. I hate all these people. I am so
Me?
sick of this cabinet.
I
what's-
have 2 packages of popcorn left. I'm going over to watch the debate on ATP's channel with Red's Rhetoric and somebody.
And somebody we
Should
don't.
I pop that popcorn or should I save it and when I only have 2 left?
I don't know if this requires popcorn, but
I'd save it.
yeah,
I'd save it.
Who is he?
Save
But
it?
you guys don't even know who he's debating against. That's just,
I don't.
yeah.
I think Thoughts by Brady says you wished says Biden is going to take our guns. So I think he's debating you wished.
No.
wished.
Yeah, it is.
He
Sorry.
wished. I don't know who he is.
Repentant conservative bracket. You wished. Have a chat. I don't know who that is.
I don't either. I have no idea. All right, guys. Thanks for watching this. Like I said, tomorrow at 11 a.m. we're gonna have Caffeine Corner. Then I hopefully got some other stuff scheduled this week coming up.
I hope Fango and Macton feel better soon.
Yeah, I don't like when DeFango's mad. There's no reason to be. It's like I see a lot of people get really angry over like simple things over disagreements, and it's like, I don't want to have a community where people get angry because they disagree on something.
Yeah, we were trying to fight, bud.
Yeah.
Bro, they're so wound up.
We can chat. We can have this. Hey, maybe you and
They're so
Macton
wound
can
up.
come on with me and Steve, and we can talk about the evidence that you.
Well, see, but Macton says, look. But
Whatever.
see, Macton says the legal case is being prepped. You don't even know if the evidence they have. Well, here's the thing, we don't. So why accept anything that Trump has to say? I mean,
No, you weren't censored at all. We just timed you out because you keep calling people morons.
that's not censorship.
That's
by
why.
the way. Not
Yeah.
And cussing at us. Like,
And by the way,
literally cussing at us.
I know a lot of court cases. I can tell you right now from personal experience where they have no evidence. I mean, literally no evidence, and they bring court cases.
Thing
From
is
personal
that you
experience,
also can't
assure
claim,
you.
It's also silly to claim fraud if you haven't seen the evidence either.
Yeah.
So why would you come to any conclusion at all? The point
Right.
is that there is, because I feel like Macton just ignored everything I said.
Yeah, there's been
That's
no
what it
evidence
seems
provided to anybody, so
There's no indication as to why we should change the position, and until there is, now when that is provided, then that's fine, but there is no reason to suspect because there hasn't been anything provided.
Yeah,
So
and-
until something is provided, there's no reason to change position. This is bizarre. This
And
is
look,
such a
I'm not
bizarre-
even an evidentialist, and I'm going to go with this because that's what evidentialism would be. I'm a what's called probably a moderate evidentialist. I don't think I'm a non-evidentialist, but I would say a moderate evidentialist. But again,
I don't understand.
but most of
I
these people
don't-
are evidentialists, but they're like, oh, okay. But then they say, well, I haven't seen any evidence because nothing's been provided.
So whatevs, ellipses, we will see what the evidence is, but you ideologues have already made up your minds. I'm withholding judgment like it's a true skeptic piece.
That's not
we
true skeptic.
are withholding judgment. I don't think you want to, just because I already have a position based on prior experience does not mean that I am unwilling to read or change my position based
Nor
on
does
that
it-
evidence.
Yeah, right
This
now
doesn't-
there's no evidence
Nor
for
does
it.
it make you an ideologue.
Yeah,
Right.
as
Way,
Cheshire
shape, or
pointed
form.
out, but as Cheshire pointed out, we have priors. Well, I pointed out there's priors, but based upon what she said, that historically these elections are without fraud. And so to
And
say
there
now
is
that this one
fraud.
has fraud, I'm sorry, but I have to be, that's not being a skeptic. You don't reserve judgment when you have priors like that. That's like saying, hey, look, hang on.
Yeah,
it's not
I
like
mean-
saying, look, the sun is going to rise tomorrow, right? Do I reserve judgment on that? No, because I have priors it's rose every other day. That's not what skepticism even remotely is. That's just being silly.
There's also this other half of this that just doesn't make any sense, because if there is something, again, like I said, so huge that Hillary didn't get caught with anything,
Yeah.
Trump didn't get caught with anything, they were both going at each other looking for fraud, and neither of them passed, meaning that Biden would have to have done something worse than anything that took place in 2016. And there's no suspicion. There's nothing that's happened that is suspicious to indicate that you should be skeptical about this
And it has
situation.
nothing to do with Orange
And
Man
it's
Bad.
the-
Hang on. It has nothing to do with Orange Man Bad. Mac, all you got to do is show us
Oh
what
my
evidence
God.
you're referring to. That's it. Until such time we see that, just like this is not, by the way, skepticism. This is being what's called ordinary doubt. If I have priors that every election has been non-fraudulent, then in order to persuade me to change my point of view on that, show us the evidence that there's fraud. I don't know why that's complicated.
And Mactoon, this right here is actually
not even
going
left.
to be. I'm going to time you out too.
Yeah.
I'm not even a leftist. I'm centrist.
You're literally straw manning people's positions at this point, and that's a no here. Straw manning
They're
is like
all
one of the
super
worst.
triggered, man.
Yeah,
They're super triggered because
you
of
believe
what's
men
been
can have
going
periods?
on.
I've never. What the hell does that have to do with anything? That's going off to so freaking left field. It's ridiculous. I'm not a leftist. I'm not even a social justice person. I'm actually like I'm not even a feminist, for God's sake. I don't.
These are the people that do not understand that all of America is on the right of political scale. Your left is not left.
Yeah.
It is.
Our left is middle.
Please understand that there are places that exist that are not America, that are actually functional places and have political ties and positions and ideas that are not the same as yours. And just because they're different,
the lady in the computer screen lies.
Yeah, I'm not one of those orange man bad kind of thing. I don't like.
I'm definitely on the orange man bad train, but that has nothing to do with whether or not there's fraud that's taken place. Because I'm happy that Trump is gone.
Oh, I am
that
too. Absolutely.
If there's fraud, I want them to find it. If there's
absolutely.
If there's widespread fraud on that scale to get someone to get Biden versus Trump. There's that kind of fraud, please. How about
we do this, because we have to end this. I will do this. And again,
GTFO.
Thank you, my patrons, and thank you, my members. I really appreciate your membership benefits, your memberships, and if you want to do this, Macton, we've got until January 20th, right, which is 2.5 months, for them to find whatever they want. If at that time, by January 20th, when he's out of office, if they have found no fraud, you come back and let us know, and you apologize. And if they have found fraud, and for some reason they redo the election, or they redo the counts, and he stays in office, whatever, I'll be the first to admit we changed our position, right? We'll be like, yeah, you were right. But I don't know what you're right based upon. I haven't seen.
I don't have
what
to
you think
like
right
that
on.
he's president because he found fraud. That's not at all. But
we can only go by what we have available to us right now. We have nothing to evaluate as far as the evidence.
Yes, that is a full. These two things, you're conflating two things. Disliking Trump has nothing to do with whether or not you approve of fraud or not, and whether or not you think that fraud has or has not occurred. Because again, the position of there's no fraud has taken place until there's reason to suspect so. Like that borders on paranoia.
It is a little disturbing.
Yeah, we're not talking about like 7 or 9 bad ballots in one state. That's not fraud.
Yeah, and
a handful of people is not fraud.
And they call him Biden a socialist like that. Socialism is such a bad word nowadays.
Not. He's really
not.
No,
he's not. No, and a little bit of socialism is required in a society. We have socialized VA, socialized medicine. Roads are socialized.
Socialism and communism are the same thing.
They're not by any stretch. I mean,
Democratic socialist is not a socialist either.
Right.
That's just
let's get out of here.
All right, let's get out of here. Put the link to Red's
later
thing in the live chat again, and we're out, guys. See you guys tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Peace.
Bye.